Right, so it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with another stimulating session on connecting the dots. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Employees are the backbone of many organizations, and companies strive to make sure employees are happy at work and in their job. How an employee feels at work can directly affect the success of the business. It's important that organizations and managers figure out how to make their employees happy so that the business can be productive and the company continues to be a place where talented candidates want to work. Join us for this enthralling session and watch our experts share their valuable inputs on how it's important to have happy employees at work, provide reasons why happy employees are more productive, and share some ways you can make sure the members of your team remain happy in the workplace. HRAI welcomes you all to the session on connecting the dots. Happy employees means happy organization. To know more about HRAI and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link at the details posted in the chat window. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. Request all participants to kindly give your feedback on the session. I'll now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed panel members for our today's webinar. Ms. Malika Rao, mindfulness speaker, life coach, holistic wellness expert, an award-winning life coach, mindfulness speaker, emotional freedom technique therapist, and employee wellness consultant. Malika brings over 18 years of learning and experience in holistic wellness. Named as Woman of Excellence by the Indian Achievers Award and recognized as a global goodwill ambassador, Malika actively promotes mindfulness and meditation for mental and emotional wellness. A fascinating blend of ancient Eastern wisdom and modern Western science, her signature coaching program has helped over 10,000 professionals and entrepreneurs to overcome sabotage, build rock solid confidence, and achieve their career and financial goals. Together with her coaching keynotes and workshops, Malika has helped thousands of people find calm, clarity, and confidence. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Our next panel member, Miss Hina Sharma, Chief Happiness Officer, Hope and Happiness Coach.com. Hina Sharma is the founder and the Chief Happiness Officer at www.hopeandhappinesscoach.com. She balances multiple roles gracefully, be it her growing business, mother of two energetic daughters, wife of a senior banker, or guide and confidant to her multiple clients around the globe. She is recognized as Top 51 Global Happiness Leader and was also awarded by Mentor of Excellence Award at the National Conference of Women Leadership, a global goodwill ambassador for her work in charity services. She has also been featured in the Indian Express, The Hindu, Silicon India, Wow, and Tulip. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Our next panel member, Ms. Shakshi Mandyan, psychologist, founder of Mandyan Care. Shakshi Mandyan is an established psychologist, award winning happiness coach, wellness and leadership expert, and keynote speaker with over 10 years of quality experience with various Fortune. She is the founder of Mandyan Care, a positive mental health initiative. She has recently been awarded as one of the 51 most fabulous global happiness leaders by World HRD Congress. She is passionate about building a happy and empathetic society. We once again look forward to an exciting session from her. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Our next panel member, Ms. Manisha Patak, life coach, spiritual mentor, and founder of Rising Souls. Manisha, along with Rising Souls, have been a pioneer in helping and lifting individuals and organizations by counseling teams to understand the very basic life aspects, which helps them in decision making and getting self clarity, which, as we understand, is one of the challenges at individual level, group level, and organization level today. She has done many inspiring sessions on stress management, setting goals, healing relationships, team building, etc. She has collaborated with many big names like Vodafone, Hitachi, Nirma University, Adani, and also Ahmedabad Traffic Police. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Now, I'll introduce our panel come moderator for today's session. Dr. Soumya Badgyan, VP Corporate Strategic HR and IR, Gold Star Jewelry Private Limited. She comes with a 20 years of immense corporate experience in the field of sales, marketing, corporate strategy, and HR with complete knowledge about all the segments of the various markets in the field of luxury products, jewelry, sales, human behavior, and their countless interplays and ramifications. She also acts as a strategic business partner to general and upper management while limiting legal risk exposure through strong knowledge of employment law. Dr. Somya is an MBA with dual specialization in marketing and international trade with PGDBM, and she recently completed her PhD in analysis of functions, efficiency, and profitability of a particular e-commerce from Rajasthan University. And with this, we are done with the introductions. I will now hand over the platform to Dr. Somya to take this discussion forward.
Unmute yourself, Dr. Somya.
Thank you, Faisal, for that wonderful introduction to the panel, as well as introducing us to, the audience, setting the pace of the discussion, and without taking much of the time. I just read something very, very, very beautiful on the net today, and I'll read it out to you. This is from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Al Maktoum, who is the leader of UAE and Dubai especially. So a happy employee, this is what he says, a happy employee is more productive, energetic, more creative, hence the importance of creating a happy environment within every institution. I believe that is so resonating with today's topic, which is happy employee means happy organizations. So here we go with what does all this mean to our August panel? And in that, even I would love to learn my, and because I'm the knowledge sponge, so कहीं भी मुझे knowledge मिलता है और वो भी मुफ्त आहा मजे की बात है. So HRAI, thank you so much for giving us such wonderful knowledge on muft. So coming back to the questions, that is, and I'm sure, sorry, I would be reading it out because we needed to be prepared for this. So my first question goes to Manisha and Sakshi. I will order it with Manisha first. So hi Manisha, here's your first question that I would like to ask is, why having happy employee matters and why it is so crucial that organizations should actually focus on the same. So what are your takes on it?
Thank you, Dr. Soumya, and thank you to the organization which has organized this. So when we say why happy employees matter, the first thing is employees matter, right? We all know. Yes. Because they matter, what they go through, it matters. Yeah. There was time, maybe 20 years back, what you go through is your personal agenda. Do your work properly. This has been heard and practiced. But now things are changing because we are growing as a, consciousness, as a collective consciousness of organizations are changing. So when you talk about happiness, what is happiness? It is one thing, one goal which every individual follow for everything in their life. Absolutely. Either we go shopping, either we gossip, either we go party, either we have passion, everything we do because we need to be happy. True. Now happiness has a very deeper layers, So pleasure and happiness are different. So we need to understand having the pleasure and happiness is a very different thing. Happy people are more productive. Yes. Why? Because there is something inspiring with it. We are looking for inspired people. We are looking for people who are punctual. We are looking for people who are passionate. But we don't care about them, what they go through. That is not the case anymore. True. And this COVID thing has changed a lot. Why? Because now we know emotional health is important. If my employee or my salesperson or my HR person is going through something, it is affecting everyone who's working with them. It affects the group dynamics. And when the groups are affected, the whole organization is affected, of course. So when you talk about happiness is something that is a part of inner work, yes. But when the outer environment is very proactively supporting that, it will be easier for people to be more inspired, more job satisfied, more passionate, and more committed. So
Absolutely.
that's why, we want our people to be flexible. We want our people to be more empathetic and working in teams. We are more concerned about their productivity. And now the time, the concern of people is coming into light. And that is the most beautiful part. Because if you want a happy organization, why organization needs to be happy? Organize is not something in anime. It is a group of people. It is a consciousness. It is our core value, core belief system. So when we care, concern, being productive, being caring, being, I would say, more creative, more innovative, consciousness of the organization, we need to help the individuals, the groups, the teams, the leaders to be more proactively believing and working towards inner work and being happy. And that's how we create the whole system of happiness with all the benefits it is coming for.
So thank you so much, Manisha, for your thoughts on the same. And I would then put the same question to Sakshi as well. And I would like Sakshi to, take us through that. Why is it very crucial for, employees and their happiness in the organization? Why does it even matter? So what are your thoughts on that?
So I'll focus on the thought itself. The thought is that I focus on the thought itself. See, when we talk about happiness, it's a feeling, right? It's an emotion that we all go through. And when we talk about the organization, and like how Manisha was saying that organization is made up of people and how they feel is important. And this is where I would say that, when the feelings are emotionally stable, when the feelings are healthy, your internal self is balanced. And when you're internally balanced, of course, you will directly be more productive. So when we talk about happiness, yes, your happiness can directly impact your thought process. Your thought process can directly impact your behavior, and your behavior can directly impact the overall growth of the organization. And so it is crucial for the organizations to have a culture which is more open to the well-being of the employees, and to the safety of the employees. And when that happens, you automatically feel that sense of belongingness. And wherever you have the sense of belongingness, you know that humans don't operate in vacuum. So wherever there is a sense of belongingness, you tend to protect that environment. You tend to do a lot for that particular space. And which is why taking care of the well-being of the employees is crucial, because it indirectly works on the overall growth of the organization. So since Manisha has spoken a lot about it, I'll quickly, sum it up in these lines, and then we can have more questions and then answers.
Beautiful, beautiful points put across by both Manisha and Sakshi. And Manisha did touch upon something related to COVID, and you also touched upon something related to belonging, and what we've seen is that COVID has somehow, segmented us, compartmentalized us in more ways than what we can ever fathom. So my next question goes to Hina, and what we are seeing is that COVID has created lasting changes, in the way that we are operating and in the way that we function, and also in the HR fraternity, it has put a lot of questions on employee engagement and productivity. So, how would you suggest, what are the methods, what are those key pointers that you would suggest would actually help all of us to address this, which is, I would say, an aftermath of COVID. So, over to you, Hina, and we would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Dr. Soumya, and thank you for bringing such an important topic to discussion. And that's so true that COVID has impacted a lot of businesses, both ways, I would say, because some of the businesses have faced financial losses and it has been a difficult journey throughout to overcome. And then talking about happiness was really not important as to, just to survive. And they have also worked, they have also come out of it, and they have found new ways of doing. So I would like to share a story of a client here. One of my client is a restaurant owner, and when COVID hit, they had to shut down and they had to, support the employees. They had to do ways how they can, and this was initially like, okay, it's just for 2 months, it's 3 months, we'll manage. But it was like a never ending thing, and people were not ready to go out even after it opened up, and the business was not doing great. So what he did is that he started a delivery from the restaurant. He started his delivery business. He promoted it on the net, and it became a home delivery system. And now it's doing extremely well. So this is what I'm talking about, how they have found ways of coping with COVID. And I think this jolt has actually woken up the entire fraternity of HR also, where the focus has come on the employee engagement, employee well-being. And that's where happiness comes in, because happiness enhances, your well-being. It improves your health. And what better time than now? So all the companies are coming forward for such sessions, such engagements where they can support their employees. And I think those organizations are really doing well, and they want to continue doing it even post-COVID, because the situation will not stay like this for long. But I think this is the learning that we can take and move ahead, that when we have this employee engagement, when we have this relationship building, even when we are far, then there is more productivity, as all of you are very nicely putting your inputs on it. More productivity, less stress, and yes, more engagement and happiness at work.
Again, brownie points to you for bringing it up, and it's amazing the way that you worded it all. It so resonates with all of us, because I am from a manufacturing background, and what happened was that even our organization had come to a standstill. We can't give, like I'm from Gems and Jewelry, and this is something that I always tell people, that you can't give this much of gold and this much of diamond, tell them, bhai sahab, ghar se bana ke bhej dijiyega, work from home chal raha hai. We can't do that, So, that way is productivity and engagement again becomes very important for you to keep the workforce intact in the organization, and yet engaged and be in sync with what the organization stands for. So what are your thoughts on the same question that I had put to Hina? Over to you, Malika, for your thoughts on the same question. COVID-19, how do we address, the productivity and engagement to the workforce? Because this is just going on. And as she rightly said, we thought it was 2 months, and 2 months became 2 years, and 2 years is like ... It's like to be continued. So over to you, Malika, for your thoughts.
Thank you for the question, Dr. Soumya. And Hina explained it beautifully. It is true that we've been going through a lot of uncertainty, because it's the first time we came across a pandemic like this, where hundreds of, actually 180 is what I last heard, that countries shut down completely. And some of the industries got wiped out completely. Right? So the first and foremost is we need to accept such are the days and such are the times. Like you were quoting the leader of UAE, it is true that happy people are productive. It is not the other way around. That's because when you're going through uncertainty and stress like this, then it is very natural that your nervous system is not regulated, and then you're under tremendous stress. When that happens, you're not able to focus, you're not able to produce results, and because of which the organizations are affected big time. As per the Harvard research, the loneliness index has gone up, or it has increased 300% up, right? Because of the social distancing and so on and so forth. And mental health has taken a toll. And there was another recent research done by Deloitte, where they have seen that 1 out of every 3 employees have either gone through burnout, or they are going through burnout and depression. So mental health is of immense issue at this moment. Having said that, absence of illness is not wellness,
Sure.
right? Just because you do not have COVID, that doesn't mean you're in a good space. So mental health actually acts a big way here. I would say to the HR folks especially, fortunately or unfortunately, we are dealing with human beings. We are not dealing with systems, not coding them. Wish we could just sit down and program them and done for it. But it becomes even more tricky for HR to keep the spirits up and to ensure that we have employee wellness and happiness taken care of. So I think it is a process. Going from stress to happiness doesn't happen. You can't jump like that. So it's a process. So from stress to you come to a neutral state, which is a wellness, and then you move to the happiness state. So it is a long drawn process, needs immense patience, organization, and planning. So as we move forward with questions, we would be sharing more ideas. Even the experts would have ideas as to how HR can implement this.
Awesome. Thank you, Malika, for that. So there's a beautiful, quote that you put forth there, that absence of illness is not wellness. And that's so right, in that space. And that's what I was thinking actually when you were talking about and giving so much of data. There are also pointers that suggest that just because I'm lonely, I have gone ahead and I've bought in one pet. And today when things are opening up, we are also abandoning them. So it's not just the happiness about human beings, but it is much more than human beings. It's about the life form that surrounds us in every sense of it. So now coming back to where we are in the organization, and when we are talking with each other, one thing that is always a desire and an aspiration is creating that happiness environment or happy environment in the organization. How do we measure this happiness index? And that is something I think that I would, seek guidance through from Sakshi. That if you can, just enlighten us with your thoughts on the same. That how would you create a happiness index? And is it, do you actually think that happy employees create happy organizations? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, I definitely agree with it. And I'll give you a small study here, which was carried out by Robertson Cooper Limited. And, it was established there that the feel good factor that an employee derives from his work and workplace, is by all means dependent on their persona. And that feel good factor comes from the organization, whatever environment that they are getting. And that can directly impact the overall culture and the growth. So if you would see, so there were a few pointers that came up that employees who felt good at work and had better working days scored high on positive emotions and low on emotions like loneliness, hopelessness, depression, and insecurity. And of course, when you are low on the emotions like loneliness, hopelessness, you tend to perform better because you're releasing the dopamine and serotonin, and those are the happiness hormones. And of course, why will it not create that environment, right? And also the percentage of employees who had high scores on positive emotions were found to be more productive. They're more satisfied with their jobs and healthier than the other people around. These employees who scored high on positive emotions again were more compassionate and empathetic towards their colleagues and subordinates. And people who showed traits of depression, stress, emotional vulnerabilities were less motivated, unwilling to improve their skills, and showed signs of unhealthy interpersonal connection at work. So if you see the overall, when the research was conducted, it clearly indicated that the feel-good factor is crucial for the overall happiness. So if we really want to create that happiness index and we want to work upon the workplace happiness, there are a few questions that we literally should work upon and ask. One, that do the employees really enjoy the task that they are assigned? Are they enjoying doing those tasks that they are assigned to them? Then whether the employees feel right about the people that they're working with. How is the team like? That's really
absolutely.
important. And whether they are happy with the financial benefits that they're getting from the job. See, we all are working for money at one part of life, right? And I can't deny that. And if you're not happy with the financial bit, of course, there is no way that you will be more productive. So I'll be practical here. So how happy the employee is with the financial benefits. And then the other point to ponder upon is whether they have the scope of improving their existing skills or not. A lot of times you are in a job profile where there's no growth and you're just doing the same monotonous work that can literally, eradicate you from your happiness, and that can literally spoil your motivational level. So it's important whether you are really growing and building and improving on your existing skills or not, and doing new things. And lastly, and very important part, whether you feel respected and acknowledged at work or not. So these are the few points. If you see, if an organization thinks about these while building their values, the key values that an organization is driven by, it can literally create a fair environment. It can create happiness index for the employees. I have a lot to say. I have more to say. I think I'll get the next question and then I'll answer. But
I think you have very well answered the next question also, which was based on, so what can organizations do to engage these employees? And I think you've already answered that.
I have more to it.
Oh no, please go ahead. We are all ears for you. And it's actually this platform is all about sharing, learning, and disseminating all the knowledge that we have. So please go ahead.
I think I'll give 8 pointers here that can literally be worked upon so that the employees are engaged and their happiness is built upon. One is to give them some assessments that can help them build their personality patterns, make them aware of their personality patterns so that they are able to grow on them. So personality pattern is one thing. Building social connections. So how many opportunities are they getting? Those activities beyond work you're doing for the employees where they can build healthy connections with the teams, which we call team building exercises, right? So what are we doing for the social connections? The third is your autonomy and decision making, how an employee feels when it comes to decision making, whether he is given that freedom and independence to speak and use his voice or not. The other one again is scope for innovation and creativity, whether you are providing enough opportunities to the employee so that he's being able to innovate and come up with new ideas. Because usually what happens is when someone is speaking and we limit the ideas. Again, the other thing would be work-life balance. How much work-life balance are you creating for the employees? Then the challenges and diversities of the task, how many challenges they face during their time of work, whether they are interesting challenges, whether there is novelty in the task that they are doing. Of course, acceptance and empathy is given, that would really build up the happiness level of the employees and the financial security simultaneously. So when these pointers are taken care of, it can literally make the employee 65% more energetic. It can build up the productivity twice, and it can more likely, help the employees to sustain their jobs over a long period of time. They remain in the organization and the absenteeism is seen to be reduced.
Awesome. Great pointers, and I love those 8 points. So, you actually got down to the essence of assessing, measuring. So, my question would now be directed to you, Hina, that do these employee engagement surveys, happiness quotient surveys, or happiness index surveys, or you name them, you can give them all free names. Do they really matter? Do you really get the essence, and does that actually reflect on the true picture of the organization in the sense of the health of the organization, or coming down to the happiness quotient of the organization? So do these surveys really help in understanding that?
Yes, I thank you, Dr. Soumya, for that question. And Sakshi has put it all very, summarized it in various beautiful ways, combining all things, elements necessary for happiness. And what I would like to add there to what she said is emotions drive people and people drive productivity.
True.
And when we do certain assessments that are able to judge what people are feeling in the organization, definitely, yes, we are able to tackle it in much better ways. We know what are the resources that needs to be used. Where exactly is the problem area? Where is it? Is it with the communication? Is it with manufacturing? Is it with any other, part of the organization? So we really can assess that through a assessment. But what is most important is the assessment. What kind of assessment is given to the employees?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because see, employees are very smart people.
Oh,
We
yeah.
know what they're
Ask
getting
us.
into. So I think the number one criteria for any assessment should be confidentiality in any organization.
Yeah.
It should be accessible so that people can use it, they can do it, but with 100% assurance of confidentiality, so that there is no bias towards any person. And yes, that's the second point, not to have a bias in any kind of quiz. So for example, if I'm asking, how emotionally intelligent is your boss? So, I'm directly asking and giving a range to literally give a level to the person. But in fact, it could be changed as how well you are communicated with your emotions, or how well how good you are to reach out to your boss in case you have any issue. So, all these things will actually give you more productive answers instead of giving it a label to anybody, or putting them in bias or stereotypes. So I think that is what is important, is how these assessments are created. And over the last decade, I think we have seen that this also has improved. Many companies have come up with 360-degree assessments, and where they are done department wise, so that more focus is given to the department and then to the overall organization. So yes, these are very helpful surveys, and it really helps. In fact, when I do a training or a session for the organizations, when we do series, we try to take surveys post every session so that we know what is the feedback from the employees, and then work accordingly over the next. There's no point giving and not really knowing whether it's going for any use or not. So take the feedback, work on it, and that's what employees want. They want that kind of feeling that they are cared for. What they're asking is what they're getting from the organization. So I think then that's the place they feel valued. They find a purpose, and they work longer, and there is more employee retention.
Beautifully put, Hina, because I was a party to this one conversation, so they had called me to Reiki, an organization, and also to understand as to why the attrition was so high, and all their employee survey indexes showed that, it's the better organization does not exist on planet Earth. This is Disney. Okay, everyone is smiling is what was there on the paper. So then why this attrition rate? And then, one of my co-trainers, who was a junior girl, so she's just having her tea, and she hears, two of these employees saying, "Sach kaun likhta hai? Increment chahiye ki nahi?" So this happens, and this is actually a very true life scenario that we are discussing here. And that brings me back to the next question. That's about organization culture. So how does and do you think that organization culture plays an important role in bringing this, attracting right kind of talent pool to the organization, and, actually, I wouldn't say compelling them to give them the best, but motivating them to give them the best. So I would put this question to Manisha. She's been quiet for such a long time. So I would put this to Manisha. Manisha, could you, throw us some of your great pointers?
It was wonderful to listen, Sakshi, Hina, and Malika, and putting the beautiful, the package of the whole knowledge which we are sharing today. Because employees means humans. Humans are complex beings, so there are so many sides. And when it's about an organization, again, it's very complex structure.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about culture. So what is culture? Do we need to have culture? Either you believe or not, every organization has a culture.
True.
So we always believe in the core value. Every organization, every company, every corporate has a core value or core goals. Sometimes value and goals are different, sometimes they are same, and still they are going towards some other direction. I have done many sessions with many organizations, and they want these wellness sessions either because it has to be done, it is in their to-do agenda as a formality, or they are really helping people. So the COVID took a very big step. It came to our lives, and now everybody is realizing that what is happening. I'll share one story. As you said, stories से बहुत कुछ
Yeah.
सीखते हैं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
A very huge organization, and there was one person, a very senior person, was struggling something. I already had many group sessions there. So somebody from the senior position, they asked me if you can have one-on-one session with that guy. That guy who's earning around 50 lakhs per annum. He was a very senior post, and I was just having one session with him, and he was crying. You know why? Because 10 years back, he lost his mother. And because he was an workaholic, he used to go out, and the work was his identity. So when he was homebound, everything which was suppressed was coming out and attacking him emotionally and mentally. And as males and all people, like male, female, everybody who is diverting their minds and suppressing their old emotions, it has come on their faces in this crisis of the work from home and this COVID time. So then I did not share because confidentiality is important because the person is sharing with you. But I understood that so many people are struggling. If a senior position person is going through this, just remember and just think about it. What the other people who have salary issues, who have basic survival issues, and all other tensions, how will they be handling the things?
Oh yeah.
So now comes the culture. We always, talk very highly about our company, the senior people.
True.
But क्या आपकी प्रायोरिटी में वेलनेस एक्चुअली है? एक बार आप खुद से सवाल करें, क्या वो प्रायोरिटी है या वो एक टू डू लिस्ट?
True.
क्या वो आपका सिर्फ एक एजेंडा है सीनियर को दिखाने के लिए, या सही में आप चाहते हैं कि आपके एम्प्लॉयज एम्पावर्ड हो, सॉर्टेड हो, सेटल्ड हो और अपने वेलनेस को समझें? आई कैन सजेस्ट अ ब्यूटीफुल मॉड्यूल.
Yes.
जब आपके यहाँ पे नए एम्प्लॉयज ज्वाइन करते हैं, आपके ड्यूरिंग द इंडक्शन, make them believe that you care for their emotional and mental health as well. Make it not just goals and their responsibility. Let them show that you are equally standing with them when they go through some crisis.
Yeah.
Make them believe that your culture has the part of their well-being. Culture is not something only about the company's goal. It is about the sharing part. If company's wellness is your responsibilities, your wellness is our responsibilities.
Absolutely.
That will make the belongingness, that will make the commitment, that will give them the passion. And Sakshi has made beautiful points that give them the work that keep them challenging, not pressurizing only. जैसे आपने कहा सीखना वाह मुफ्त का ज्ञान. Why? Because human beings are made to learn more. उनके अंदर एक इनबिल्ट एक सीकिंग होती है, क्रेविंग होती है to be more than who they are. If a company is giving them more than who they are, they will be always motivated. हम हमेशा चाहते हैं मोटिवेट करें और हम लोग बहुत सारा ज्ञान देते हैं.
Correct.
ज्ञान आपको 2 दिन के लिए मोटिवेट करता है, लेकिन इनर अगर इग्निशन हो गया ना, इग्नाइट, that can be the inner force which will be driving everybody individually, and then collectively the whole system is growing. एक छोटी सी बात जो मैं यहाँ, because एक कंपनी का कल्चर should always depict and practice में होना चाहिए what you really are only saying in language. क्या आपके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में एक इंसान के वेलबींग के लिए जगह है? Do you have libraries? Do you have a space where somebody can rest when they are not feeling good? Do you have a counselor who can be actually very confidentiality maintain करके इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे हेल्प कर सकता है? क्या आपके लीडर्स ईगो को छोड़ के इतने ओपन हैं कि वो अपनी बुराई या अपने बारे में कुछ सजेशन सुन सकते हैं? हम कल्चर की बात करते हैं, लेकिन कल्चर को हर पल चेंज होना भी जरूरी है, और कल्चर इज ओनली वैलिड व्हेन इट इज अ डायनामिक कल्चर. And the need of time is that we change our culture, we change our value, and we create a system where the employees and employer, they both understand we both need each other, and we both need to see how can we align towards the well-being and wellness and happiness of each other. So I believe a culture is a very, it's a very 360-degree intention, commitment, work, and openness to create something beautifully, individually, and of course, as a collective organization.
Awesome, Manisha. Thank you so much. So, just to sum up what you've said is what actually is echoed in the quote by Simon Sinek, and he says that happy employees, ensure happy customers, and happy customers in turn ensure happy shareholders. So I think that's where we are driving with what statements that you made. So beautifully worded, very well said, and that's what we are looking at.
One small point.
Sure.
जैसे हम लोग, जैसे मैंने कहा इंडक्शन में, we make them understand that we are not only concerned about your career, your food, but we also concerned about if you're going through something. We are there for you. And as जैसे personality assessment हम लेते हैं, we should know the weaknesses.
True.
And when we know the weaknesses, we can help them through their weaknesses. I met a girl who was achieving some very higher studies, but she has a communication issue. She's a 1 or 2 word communicator. So maybe आपके surrounding में ऐसे लोग हैं who are going through a lot, but they are not communicating. So we can help them through their weaknesses and make them their strength, because their strength is the organization's strength only.
Very well said. So coming back to Sakshi, putting the same question to you, Sakshi, that do you think that organization culture plays an important role in attracting, retaining, and actually motivating the employees? I want really specific pointers to that, because we are on the tick zone now.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll be very specific. And see, when we talk about workplace happiness, it is, while we are talking about so many pointers, we spoke about these hedonic pleasures, like positive experiences, everyday appreciation and job satisfaction, and the joy derived from the environment that we are in. All of this honestly is short-lived. So workplaces happiness is more than a subjective experience, and it's more of the byproduct of it's not just a byproduct of the external factors like appreciation or incentives, but it's also about how we manage to choose our thoughts, actions, and reactions on daily basis. So here I'll put some emphasis on the employees as well. Not all pressure should be on the employers. That when we give them these opportunities to grow, absolutely. I think it's more important for us to give them the space where they're able to think, which in turn will lead to help employees to reward themselves. So self-reward is one thing that definitely comes out as a byproduct. They are able to give small rewards in terms of persistence, energy, enthusiasm, and pride that you take internally. So it's more internal than external that happens. So this is something that would happen in the background internally for an employee, and that can of course lead to so much responsibility, whether how much responsibility or taking charge of the situation, proactively engaging in developing the skills, all of that would of course be another factor. And then if you would see job satisfaction that we're talking about, it's not just about you getting some rewards from the organization, but it's also a mental state that has both cognitive and affective components. And workplace happiness is it's purely an affective state that is driven by feelings more than thoughts. So we need to really work on that internal state of mind. We need to work on the cognition part of it as well. So when we talk about job satisfaction, of course that also happens, but we need to put focus on the cognitive aspect of it. And last is giving the opportunity to avoid negative contemplations, gossips, and unnecessary judgments that happen. So all of this along with the flow, that can really help. And definitely it can create a wonderful impact for both the employers and the employees.
Awesome. So I got two different, ideas from two different spectrums, and ends of the spectrums rather. One from Manisha and one for Sakshi. So thank you for threading both of the spectrums together so beautifully well in this. Again, coming back to this, then how can career training, like both of you were talking a lot about development aspect in an organization, and development at both the ends. Organization could be developed hona padega, and employees also need to get trained, and so how do you think that helps and it becomes the key motivational factor for the employees, because we all are saying that contribution would also lead to one part of happiness. So my question would go to Mallika, because I'm seeing her very quiet for such a long time. So Mallika, over to you, and please go ahead and do share your thoughts on this.
Thank you for the question, Dr. Soumya. See, end of the day, employees are human beings, right? Like you and me, and we like to work where we are acknowledged for our efforts, where we are valued and understood, and where you feel belong. That is where we actually tend to contribute more willingly, right? So when we're talking about wellness and happiness earlier, I got this. Do you remember the first time you fallen in love, or the first time you got your job? Remember how happy you were, and then suddenly everything starts looking more prettier and more beautiful, and then you're more patient and you're smiling more, even if somebody crosses you on the takes you, you're just smiling and letting it go, and you're waiting patiently at the signal. See, that's what
you made me go back to the wonder years. That series is the wonder years. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what happiness is all about, right?
Yes.
When we come to organizations which actually make us feel all these, that's when we want to do more, we want to give more. There's several studies that have been done, and they said that people do not leave because of pay. That used to be the biggest motivation. At least a decade back, we used to believe that. But now people leave because of the culture, where they do not feel valued and recognized. They do not want to continue. So big companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they have all understood the importance of well-being and happiness, and they've started their mental wellness programs, and they have sustainable ones. So when it comes to these kind of programs, I would agree with Manisha and Sakshi that they were mentioning that it's very important to have the culture which is actually helping create empathetic, compassionate boundaries. At the same time, helping the individual grow, the personal development part of it. So I wish I could say that mental wellness programs are like vaccination shot. You take one vaccine right now, come back after 8 weeks, and then take a booster dose after 9 months. It doesn't work that way, right? So it has to be a sustainable programs which is holistic, that actually helps you to transform within. Because this is one important lesson I've learned, and especially worked wonderfully well for my clients last year, is this, that you cannot look at workplace as silos. We human beings do not function in silos where I say, okay, workplace, suddenly I'll become happy. And then you come back, you're sad or upset about something. So creating wellness programs that holistically help you and create that inner transformation, help you to create that kind of virtues and values that are not only workplace helpful, but actually helps you in a holistic way, is what can actually bring sustainable results. And that's what happiness is about. It's a sustained effort. It is not an overnight thing. And that's what Manisha was mentioning earlier. There is a difference between pleasure and happiness. Happiness is a long shot, but it can be achieved.
Awesome. So what are your thoughts on the same? Sakshi, if I can, pose the same question to you as well.
Would you still
You
repeat?
want me to rephrase
Yeah,
the
yeah,
question?
yeah.
All
Because I
right.
was
So
listening to her, and then I got lost in the entire conversation. She was speaking it so beautifully.
yeah, so it is all about how career training and professional development, they've become the key factors. So, how can, all these factors help to motivate an employee and contribute more towards the organization?
So see, when we talk about this, I think she has already covered so much. But I would say, here I would focus on the individuality of the person, his own purpose of life, what he is looking for, where he wants to reach. That is also equally important. If you see people, there are different approaches that people would take. Some people, have the rat race approach where you're just running and you're concerned about your own selfish goals and you're so egocentric and competitive in your approach, that you forget about the long-term benefits of helping others and how you have to take everybody along, etc. So the that's one side of approach that some individuals would take, and then the individuals whose focus is more solution oriented, goal oriented, and for them it is more about bigger level of happiness and contentment. So what approach you take, how are you balancing between what I want to and what I have to, the difference between the two, that can also really make a big difference in achieving these goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Hina, coming back to you on the same, what would you, what would you say on the same question? Would you want me to repeat it, or are you comfortable?
No, I'm good. I've been listening attentively to both of them. And they have really summarized it well.
Yes,
and I would say it's just for an individual, as an employee, we would ask ourselves the questions as to, would I like to work at a place where I am praised, or would I like to work at a place where I'm criticized? So I think that would really give you an answer as to the place that you're working for. And at the same time, like happy people, they improve upon themselves, they continuously work on their well-being and growth, whereas unhappy people would evaluate and judge others. So I think this is what the essence of all these training programs is, that's what the organization would want their employees to be like. And that's why it's quite important, especially in today's time, to have certain programs, certain resources available for the employees, so that we can build that kind of organization where you feel like coming to work every day. And because we are spending like more than 80% of our life working, so why not make it happy place?
Awesome. So the last question, because Hina touched upon something that people have opinions, and they love to be heard. So last question to all my beautiful ladies here and my beautiful panel members. Last question, it is that, do you feel that, employees who have, whose opinions are valued, they last longer in the organization? Does it have an impact on the organization? Would you think that the voice of an employee actually matters and is one of the factors in creating a happy organization? So let's start with Manisha, and then we will go to Malika, then we will go to Sakshi, and finally Hina. Good? All right, Manisha, please.
Yeah, Tanya, thank you for your beautiful presence and your inspiring ways of connecting all of us.
Thank you.
So, opinion. I think everybody's opinion should matter, right? But the most important part is, we know about the union leaders and those kind of things. So, but it is more important to understand the wellness health of the organization is most important. And the person who is giving opinion, it is giving from what intent, what is the purpose. We can listen to everybody and then we can decide what we really, but not listening, ignoring. I think opinion should be more important when the lower level of people are not very confident, the newcomers, the leader should know that listening to everyone is becoming the, I think openly available for the person. And as Sakshi and Hina and Malika have beautifully said that individual work is most important. So before giving an opinion, can you check from where it is coming? It is just to say something, just to be more egoistic, but there is something which you really want to share. And I always believe, end of the day, what is your intention? You will bring that in your life. So if with the right intention you are saying something, it should matter. And one should be open to listening because that is the culture which we are in now. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Sorry,
Sorry,
go
Sakshi.
ahead, Sakshi.
No. I just said but yeah, that's what.
Oh, all right. Please go ahead.
So, like we all have agreed that people like to work where they are acknowledged, their efforts are acknowledged, they are valued, and they feel belong. So it's very important to recognize everyone's place and understand their completeness in the big picture. But having said that, I wouldn't call that opinion. I will actually bring it to communication, a culture which has transparency, which allows you to communicate your thoughts in alignment with the company vision, and which actually helps you together objectively go towards your goals, will actually make more happier employees, where you feel you're empowered enough to voice your opinion, keeping the company vision and your personal vision in alignment with that. So I think creating transparent communication is very, very vital.
True. Yeah. Thank you, Mallika, for that. And over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you. So, see, I have a very varied perspective here, and I would say that it's not about the opinion of the employee, and this is where I would highlight this for the employers and the employees both, that the organization runs for the clients, the customers, right? And when you are hired for an organization, then you also become organization. So employee and the employer are the same. It's no different, right? So it's you versus the customer, or you for the customer or the client. So it's not about your opinion. It is more about what the client wants, what's the customer wants, what your target audience wants. So if at all, here, instead of thinking about whether my opinion matters or not, and accordingly I'll decide whether I should stay in the organization or not, or I'll be upset or I'll be happy, I think the thought should change for both the employees and the employers, and it should go on to that we are one, and it is not about me. Whatever we are doing is for a bigger benefit, and that's for the audience, and that's our customer, that's our client. And when that internal belief builds in the employees, it stops that conflict in their mind, and that is where they can work at peace with each other for the benefit of the clients and the customers. Till the time it is about you, it can never be about others.
So you're talking about unison of the voice.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Absolutely wonderfully worded. Over to you, Hina.
Thank you so much. So here, what I will do is I'll combine three statements which I just heard. Yes. So as you said, Dr. Soumya, that happy employee equals happy customer, and which is equal to happy shareholder. Absolutely. And to come to Sakshi's point, yes, it's basically happy customer. And then to connect it with Mallika's beautiful point of transparent communication. So I think when we align these three, how do we reach that happy employee, happy organization where they are in synchronicity of their thoughts and goals, and that comes with clear communication. And I think that's what leads to more success. So it's always joining hands, not just being having an individual opinion.
Awesome. So just to summarize everything up, I would say that beautiful, great points by Manisha, Mallika, Hina, and Sakshi. Couldn't have been a better panel than this to discuss and to get all these thoughts. I'm going back enriched, and what I can understand is just to sum it up in what Anne Frank actually wrote in her diary, that small little child, a teenage girl, if we can call her. She says that whoever is happy will make others happy. And that's why it is very important. Such simple words, but such powerful impact. That if you see people around you smiling, if you see people around you motivated, you would love to come back to that organization every day with you just want to give so much more, and that's what is more important. So thank you very much to each of you wonderful ladies. Over to you, Faisal. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so before we move to the Q&A round, we will be running a poll to have the participants' valuable feedback on this session. During this time, we request all participants to feel free and put their questions in the chat box. You can also name the speaker to whom you want your question to be answered. So we have one question, Dr. Soumya, I think in the chat box from Prachi Kapil. She's saying, I would like to have your suggestion for freshers specialized in HR, how to enter the industry considering current scenario.
Current scenario, irrespective, every scenario is going to be the current scenario for whenever you want to step in. It is about creating the relevance around yourself. It is not about just the bookish knowledge. If you're passionate about a particular function, if you're passionate about people, be sales, HR, you can get into analytics, anything, you just have to know that. And in today's time, when we are seeing so much of onus and so much of burdens coming, I would suggest the youngsters also to go ahead and add to their curriculum a bit of psychology as well, because that is going to help you understand what is unsaid, by your employees. So understanding the unsaid is very important, more than what is explicitly said. Thank you.
So we are waiting for more questions. 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, Faisal, it's already 4:03 and we are running ahead of time.
Okay, no problem. We are just waiting 2 to 3 minutes. If nothing is fine,
Yeah, I have another session also, so I'll have to rush. So 2 minutes and then I.
Yes, 1 2 minutes. Sure.
Thank you, Dr. Soumya, for an excellent moderation between all of us. We had loads of.
Thank you so much, Hina. Thank you, Hina. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
Thanks to Soumya, all the panelists, and especially Peter, Faisal, and HR organization. Thank you so much for making this possible. It was such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Malika.
Yes, so we'll also conclude. So thank you, Dr. Soumya, for moderating this session and making it so interactive and exciting. A big thank you to our panel members, Ms. Malika, Ms. Hina, Ms. Shakshi, and Ms. Manisha for sharing their valuable thoughts and insights with us. It has been a privilege having you all for this enlightening session. To all those who wish to learn and grow, you can access the recording for our today's session on our YouTube link shared in the chat window. Before we conclude with today's session, we would also want to thank all the associations, Gesia, NASSCOM, COE, ClipTalk, Talgrow, TLE, WICCI, LinkedIn Local Ahmedabad and India for supporting HRAI's event. To know more about these associations, request you all to kindly visit the link provided in the chat window. Do join us for our next event, Connecting the Dots, on the topic Hiring Challenges Amidst the Great Resignation. Request you all to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window. See you soon. Stay safe. Take care and bye for now.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
I have